In this video, we are going to learn how to create an application which can remove the backgrounds from your images using the AI technology. So as you can see, this is the UI, and if I click on this choose a photo button, we can select an image from our gallery. And if I just select any of these, so for example this one, this is our picked image, and if I just click on the remove background button, it will start removing the background. So just wait for it. And after the removing background process is done, you can see a slider which shows the before and after of your image. So this is the before and this is the after without any background. And now if you want to download the image, you can just click on this download button and it will be downloaded to your directory. So let's just go to the directory and check files, directory, and in here this is the BG remover folder, and in this folder we have this image. So this is the image without any background. So we will create all this. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and press that bell icon so you will be notified whenever a new video is uploaded. Watch this video till the end so that you won't have any issue implementing this functionality. Okay, so we are using Visual Studio Code, and let's create a new project. So I will say Ctrl+Shift+P, and in here Flutter, add new project, application, select the folder, and now we need to type the name of our project, which is AI remove BG, and just press enter and it will create a project for us. Okay, so now the project is done. Let's just remove everything, and also this my homepage class. Okay, so this is the code. Let's also remove this home. Okay, and after that let's just set the banner as false. Okay, so after that go to Android app build.gradle, and in here you need to set the minimum SDK variant as 21 and target SDK variant as 33. And after that you need to go to compile SDK variant and set it to 33 also. Save it and then close it and go to source, main, Android manifest, and in here you need to add these 3 permissions. So these 2 permissions are for the storage and this one is for the internet. So add them and then save it. And after that we need to add some packages. So go to pubspec.yaml, and in here you need these packages, which is http, image picker, before after, screenshot, permission handler, and path provider. So to add these you can simply copy them from the pub.dev, or using VS Code you can say Ctrl+Shift+P, and in here type add dependency, and in here type the name of the packages. For example http, comma, and after that image picker, comma, and same goes for all. Just type their name and then press enter, so they will be downloaded and then you can use it. Okay, so setup is done. Let's run this application on my emulator. So I will just select my emulator from here and launch my application. Okay, so our application is running, and as you can see in the lib folder we have a dash border.art, which is a widget that I am going to use in my application. So this is the code. If you want to copy it, you can just pause the video and you can copy it. Otherwise you can use your own. This is basically the border that we are going to use for our container. Okay, so after that let's just create another file which will be our home screen dot, and in here let's just add a stateful widget which will be our home screen. And in here let's just return a scaffold with an app bar, and after that a body. So it will be container for now, and just save it. Go back to your main.dart, and in here use the home property as your home screen and save it. Okay, so this is our home screen now. Let's just close this and this main.dart. Let's just create a simple UI. So for the app bar I will just say title and use a text widget here, which will be our AI background remover. let's style it, so it will be text style, and change the font size to 16.0 and just save it. After that, let's just remove the elevation as 0.0 and also set the center title as true. And after that, just for decoration, I will use a leading property, and in here I will use an icon, so it will be icon start sort rounded, and just save it. Okay, so our app bar is done. So before going to the body, let's just add a bottom nav bar here. So in the bottom nav bar, I will be using an elevated button, and the on press will be empty, and for the child I will use a text widget. So the text widget, and in this text widget I will say remove background and just save it. Wait a second. Okay, we need to remove that. Okay, so here is our button. So after that, let's just wrap it with a sized box and set the height as 56. This button will be deactivated at start, so let's just set it as null. So we will activate it according to a condition. So when it's null, we can't use this button. After that, let's just create a variable here. So it will be var loaded is equal to false. On this on press, let's say if the loaded value is true, then this, else it will be null. So now we need to remove this constant and we need to add else. Okay, so as the condition is false, null is here. After that, let's just create the UI. This body, let's just use a center widget and use my dashed border as a child, and in this child I will use the elevated button. So for that, I will just copy this elevated button and paste it as the child of this dashed border, and let's remove the condition and it will be activated by default. Okay, so this is our child. Let's just wrap it with a sized box and set the width to, let's say, 200, and after that we need to add some padding to our dashed border. So it will be edge insert start all, and from all sides I want 40 padding, and after that I want to change the color of that border. So it will be color, and the color will be color start gray, and after that I want some border radius, so the border radius will be 12. Okay, so now on the click of this button, we want to select an image from our storage. For that, let's just create a variable. So the variable will be uint8list, and it will be image, and it can be nullable. And after that, let's just create a string, and it will be our image path, and it will be like this. Let's just create a method here which will be pick image, which will be an async method, and in here let's use an img is equal to await image picker and dot pick image, and in here we need to provide the source. So the source will be image source dot gallery, and after that we need to pass a parameter that image quality should be 100. So after selecting an image, we have to check that if img is not equal to null, means we need to verify that the user has selected an image, and if this is not the case, then in the else part we need to handle it. So I will just keep it empty for now, and after that let's just go to the first if condition. So if the user has selected an image, let's just use our image path is equal to img dot path, and after that we need to set state, and we also need to create another variable. So let's say img picked is equal to false. So when we have selected an image, we need to say img picked is equal to true. Okay, so let's go to the UI, and in here for the child of this center widget, let's use a condition that if the image picked is true, then show this container, otherwise show this. So in this container we need a child which will be an image.file, and in this we need a file which will be from .io, and in here we need to say image path and just save it. And now we can remove this container because we are not using it. Okay, so after that let me check everything. This is the pick method, and okay, so on the click of this button, let's set this method so it will be pick image and just save it. Okay, let's click on this button, and now we have to select an image. So I will select this one, and this is the image picked. And now we need to activate this. So go to the method which is pick image, and after that we need to say loaded is equal to true. And after that let's just restart it again. Okay, so click on it, click the image, and it is activated. But here is a condition that if we selected this image as a mistake, means we didn't want to select it. So how can we fix this? Let's just go to the UI, and in here wrap this whole image widget into a gesture detector, and on the tab of this image we need to call our pick image again and just save it. And after that if we click this image, we can select another image, click again, select another. So after that we need to remove the background. So for that let's just create a file here. So let's call it api.dart, and in here let's create a class and call it as API. So in here we need one thing which is our API key. So how to get the API key? For that we need to go to a website which is remove.bg, and in here you need to log in or sign up. So if you don't have any account, you will have to sign up, otherwise you can log in. So I will just log in. So after logging in, we have to go to tools and API, and after that click on this API and command line, and after that API docs, and after that we need to click on get API, and in here we need to click on new API key. So now you have to name your key. So I will just go with the default and create API key, and this is our API key. So just copy it. You need to create your own because I will delete this API key after this project. So just copy it and save changes. Go back to your code, and in here let's create a variable. So let's call it const and API key is equal to, and just paste it here. Also you need to make it static. Okay, so after that you also need a base URL. So just say static const, or just make it a variable. So it will be static variable base URL. So it will be uri.parse, and in here you need to say https://api.remove.bg/v1.0/remove. So this is your base URL, and after that let's just create a method which will be static and remove bg, and in here as a parameter we want the image path, so it will be img path. So this method will be async, and in here let's just import our http package. So import http as http, and after that we can use it. So let's create a variable request is equal to http dot multi path request, and in here we need to pass two things, which is our method that is post, and after that the URL which is our base URL, and just save it. After that we need to add headers to this request. So just say request dot headers dot add all, and in here we need to pass a map. So for that, just use curly braces and say X API key, and in here pass your API key variable. Keep it as this. Okay, so after this header we want to send the file. For that, just say request dot files dot add, and in here you need to say await, and after that you need to say http dot multi-part file dot from path, and in here you need to pass the field which is our image file, and after that we need to pass the path which is image path, which is our parameter. So after that we need to send the request, so that is await request dot send, and to store the response let's create a final and it will be response. And after that we need to check the response dot status code. Let's say response dot status code. So if the status code is 200, means the request is successfully sent and received. So if this is not the case, you need to handle. So I will just print failed to fetch data. Okay, so let's just return our null. And if the request is sent and received successfully, we want to say http dot response and name it anything. So I will just say image is equal to await http dot response that dot from stream, and in here we need to pass the response. So after that, let's just return the img dot body bytes and just save it. Okay, so our backend is done. Let's go to our home screen, and in here on the press of this button we want to call this method. For that, let's just go. So this is the button, and in here let's just make it async and say await API dot remove background, and in here we need to pass the image path, so that is image path, and just save it. And we also need to store the result in a variable, so that is our image variable. And after that, for the loading, let's just add another variable here. So var and say removed bg, it will be false. Let's just remove this image picked. Let's remove it, we don't need it because we have already used loaded. So in the UI, let's just change the condition as from image picked to loaded. Okay, so after that remove bg will be false. So after getting result, we need to check that if the image is not equal to null, then we need to say removed bg is equal to true, and also set state. Okay, so after that, for the child of this elevated button, let's use the condition and add another variable that is loading will be false. So on the click of this button we need to set state, and in here we need to set our is loading to true, so we can show some circular progress indicator. So in here we need to use this condition, so it will be is loading then show circular progress indicator, otherwise show this. Okay, so when our background is removed, let's just set our is loading to false again and just save it. Okay, so after that we need to go to our UI, and in here use a condition removed bg is true, then say image dot memory, and in here we need to pass our uint8 list, which is our image. otherwise if the loaded is true and this and that. Okay, so let's use our before and after widget here. So let's wrap it, let me just cut it and use my before after widget, and in here we need to pass a before image which is a widget and after image which is also a widget. So before image I want to show image dot file, and in here I want to pass a file from .io, and in here I will pass my image path, and for the after image I will use image.memory, and in here I will pass my image and add a null check here. Okay, so the UI is done. Let's just restart our application. Okay, so we got an error that our before and after package cannot be executed without null safety. So how can we fix this? We need to disable this null safety. So let's just close this application, go to the terminal, and in here we need to say flutter run, and in here we need to say no sound null safety. So this is the command, and after that just press enter. Okay, so now we need to select a device. So I want to go with the emulator, so just select 2. Okay, so here is my application running, and if I just click on this remove background and select this image and click on the remove background, so here as you can see the background is removed, and we can use this slider to see the difference between the before and after. So this is before and this is after, and you can see the background is removed completely. So there was an issue that on the click of this the circular progress indicator was not visible. So let's just change its color. So we will set value color, and it will be always stopped animation, and in there color start white. Okay, so now if we want to download this image, how can we do that? Let's just add a button for that. So go to the app bar, or you can create a button down here. I will go in the app bar and use actions, and in here I will create an icon button, and the on press will be empty for now, and for the icon I will use icons.download, and after that we need to create a controller of our screenshots. So I will just say screenshot controller, name it as SC controller, or screenshot controller is equal to screenshot controller. And now we need to go to our after image. So where is our after? Okay, so this is our after image. Let's wrap this into the screenshot variable, widget, and in here we need to pass the controller. So let's say our screenshot controller. Okay, so after that we need to create a method so we can download this image. So just click on download image, which will be an async method, and in here we need to ask the permissions first. So let's say var perm is equal to permission dot storage dot request. So it will send a request, and after that we need to check if the permission is granted or not. So if the permission is granted, we also need to set await here. Let's just create a final directory here. So it will be final directory, and in here we need to say directory, and now we need to add a path. So the path will be storage slash emulated slash 0, and in here we need to add the folder name. So the folder name will be stored in a variable. So let's just create, so in here let's say var, and the folder name will be our pg remover, and after that we also need a file name. So it will be var file name is equal to date time dot now dot milliseconds since epoch, or we can just set it as string. So use a string and in here paste it, and after that add the extension which is .png. We need to check if the directory dot exists. So if the directory exists, we need to use await, and let's say not. So if the directory does not exist, we need to create it. So await directory dot create and say recursive as true, and after that we need to download our file. So just say await and say screenshot controller dot capture and save, and in here we need to pass the directory which is our directory, and after that we need to pass delay which is our duration of milliseconds 100, and after that we need to pass the file name which is file name, and we need to pass the pixel ratio which is 1.0. So let's check what's the issue with the directory. So we need to say dot path here, and after that let's just use a scaffold messenger dot of context dot show snack bar, and in a snack bar I want to show a text widget, and I want to say that downloaded to, and in here we need to use our variable which is our directory dot path, and just save it. Okay, so now we need to call this method on the press of this button. So go to the app bar, and in here just call this download image and save it. Restart your application, and if we just click on it, okay, so it is downloaded to emulated 0. Let's check. Okay, so this is our file. So as you can see, this is the image without any background. Let's try another one. Remove background, and let's just select this one. Remove background. Okay, so the background is removed, and let's just click on this download button, and it is downloaded to 0. Go back to files, and this is our second image without any background. Okay, so this is how you can remove the backgrounds from your images and download them and use wherever you want. And I hope you enjoyed the video. So if you did, press that like button and subscribe to the channel for more amazing incoming content. See you in the next one. Till that, love is